Hi everyone, welcome to this to my very first expert event. This is me presenting on performance analytics. What is the I in KPI? This for me is a very big topic because it's something that gets thrown around across any industry in every industry. So a quick insight into what I've done so far, what I'm doing next, and where is this question and thought and idea come from. So firstly, short agenda. First, just a quick introduction about me. I'll go through some of the buzzwords that are thrown around quite often around KPIs. And then I'll go through something done over the last 6 to 9 months where I'm working currently, and we'll finish off with a Q&A. So again, hello everybody. So I'd say I'm very new to ServiceNow. I've been working in the ServiceNow arena for around 3 years now. Prior to that, I was very much a developer. Now I'm more lead, working alongside many management. Started off with deployments across the world. I currently work for Veolia. So initially, the plan was to deploy and globalize ServiceNow. I think we deployed more than 20 countries around the world. So to give you an insight, we currently have around 90,000 users on the platform, serving around 1,500 ITIL users, around 10 to 15 modules as well. That covers you everything from incident management, request fulfillment, all the way up to HR. So we've got so Veolia here, we've got a massive, a very huge arena in where the modules are. So from a development background, again, because I come from a very technical background, it's quite useful to be a management, to go to a management level and still understand the technical detail. As I've gone on, the phrase KPI is thrown around a lot. Very much so to the point where I think I even stop people and even ask them what do they actually mean. To the point now where I think I actually get, even at the recent knowledge event, Knowledge 17 was actually my first knowledge event, first of many I hope, where I actually got to even learn even more about what ServiceNow is doing next, especially with performance analytics. I had the opportunity to work with Vincent Loffield at Platformation, where we initially had the introductions on performance analytics and to understand its capabilities. Furthermore from that, I've been able to understand and try to leverage the technical aspects of what performance analytics is capable of and bridge the gap between the more information-driven, the more measurable KPIs that people are talking about. So this is something that I get asked a lot. I think everywhere I go. So initially, country to country, it was to deploy. So we went. I mean, you're talking from countries, UK to France to Sweden, Italy. Even before deployments of ServiceNow happened, the first thing was, I need this KPI. That's even prior to going live with anything. So as the deployments happen, incident management, request fulfillment, even after this, it was, how do I report? How do I get this KPI? Asking them many times about what you're trying to achieve. It was simply just a very pretty report. pretty to the point where as long as it was a very large chart with various colors on it, they were happy. To understand, trying to engage, get the right terminology across the different cultures, the different countries. You actually start to, I've actually started to understand what the different countries are looking for and actually how patient probably need to be. So some of the buzzwords that many cultures, many languages speak in the same way. So KPIs being everything from reports to metrics to even the things of key, primary, how important they are. These are all a varied view on what KPIs are. And I always start with saying to everybody, everything is an indicator first. How we define whether it's key or not it depends on where you are. And I always try to engage now is, can we do the minimum? Can we do the minimum KPIs? And then performance analytics has helped to understand what the minimum is. What you have here is basically, this is my analogy of how indicators, how KPIs as such are. You start from the bottom and you start building on top of it and further up. The base KPI, the base indicators you need are at the bottom, but as you get further up, not everything is key. However, those will chop and change depending on which way the business or is being, and that's what's actually key. However, the core and the primary as such, to keep primary independent from key, is how I try to now advise people on KPIs. If you can do the primary KPIs, you can build on top of this and then go further and further into the detail. How long it takes to go from one group to another group. Let's see if we can just do the baseline, the very KPIs at a high level, because then we can compare, and most importantly, we can measure. Importantly, are there to help you make decisions, and to have a baseline, and then to be able to make the further and further you go up the wall to be able to make decisions is what allows you to decide which brick you need to add on top of it next. So it's a very strategy, but hopefully it shows you that even though you don't have all the key ones, you actually need to move up and to improve. So what I'll be doing now, I will demonstrate to you how and what ServiceNow and performance analytics has done for me to help me bridge this gap in what a KPI is, from both a technical standpoint, from how it's built, as well as to how to demonstrate it to be able to have this synchronized. So one of the things we did here at Veolia is create a KPI library. So the reason for this is definition. So whether it's the definition of a KPI, whether it's the definition of a metric, even the definitions of indicators themselves, is to have something to refer to, something that's referenced, something that is publicly available to everybody in the world. That's one thing. So in any time somebody asks for a KPI, it can be referenced and it can be advised where to go. Not only this, to categorize everything by particular modules is one thing, but to advise on in a very quick way of how useful they are, whether it's beneficial, whether it's on how beneficial it is or to whom it's used by, targeting the personas, as well as the current needs to them for that moment. So as everything is a KPI here, although simply because of the way the terminology is kept, primary is something that we've used to mean the foundation of the bricks that I was showing you in my previous slide. So the initial engagement with any service manager, service line manager, is to, if you can do the primary ones, we can build on this, because you always need a starting point. This will help you understand where the gaps are and how you can make decisions then moving forward, and what you can do with this information. Because initially everything is just data, whether they're numbers, whether they're counts, but to turn this into useful information and to help you make a decision will help you move forward, whether it's creating knowledge articles, whether it's changing the way team set up or your business services are engaged. All this will come from the way the base KPIs are. So the KPI library is one good thing which helped as a reference. Secondly, in addition to this, everybody can have a dashboard. Everybody can have a report. However, if you're the only person that has this report, it's probably not useful, because I'm sure somebody else from a different country or a different team will have a different type of report, and somebody from somewhere else, and it's not very useful, because you're trying to compare two totally different things, or two things that actually now are unrelated. So by using the information that's been baselined and set up in a KPI library, where you've been able to have the clear definitions, performance analytics gives you the ability, has been set up in such a way that everything is an indicator. So going into ServiceNow, going into performance analytics, as you see on my view here, as everything is described as an indicator, initially one of the things that we've done here at Viola is provide every indicator with a knowledge article. This actually is the reference to the knowledge article you see in the KPI library. So one of the main reasons for this is to firstly avoid duplicates. So you don't have, so you're never put in a situation where you're giving the wrong information, or any article is too similar, or lead to any doubts. I think, as anybody knows with knowledge, if you ever see two articles which look very similar, or look like they're very old, one's very new, you actually start to doubt the quality of it, and this can only lead to people or managers to look away or to go somewhere else for this information. So this actually provides, this again provides a clear relevancy, a clear baseline into how good the information is and whether it can be referenced and whether it can be trusted. More, if I was to go into any of these indicators, we've used everything that you see here is uses out of the box, whether it's the indicator groups to the name, description details. All this information is actually used to generate a knowledge article. This provides us with all, this means that we can maintain all the way the knowledge is generated from the indicators. So whether it's to maximize, whether it's to count, whether it's to work out percentages, or shifts in patterns. All this information is built from the indicator. So if I was to go into any knowledge article, you will see that all the targets, breakdowns, data series, all these headings here come from the indicator itself, even the description. So initially, things like formula filters may not be relevant at the time. For anybody who's looking at this new, we'll take the first title information and any benefit, any benefit and target. Target being the most important thing. Like any indicator, like any KPI, for you to be able to measure anything, it's important to have a target. And this is what the KPI library and the link between the indicators and the library will give you. So next steps. Now we've been able to link as in performance analytics to knowledge articles in a KPI library. Now how do we benefit from this? So to benefit from this, this is where reports and dashboards start becoming useful, because now we actually can start looking at KPIs where the indicators have been predefined. The value that it provides, it is known that it's all been broken down in the same way. So in this example here, it's the breakdowns assignment group. And it allows you to be able to select with confidence that all these indicators are being used with primary KPIs. This is not to say that you only need to use primary KPIs, but to be able to have a start, to have a baseline, it allows you to be able to start from the bottom and move up and be able to track across the board. Furthermore, as people start using performance analytics a lot more, Veolia ourselves, we're still quite young in our use of performance analytics. The intent is to build different persona dashboards to be able to use the inform analytics to drive different levels of behavior, but to initially be able to start with a baseline where everybody can have the same starting points and to be able to understand and make decisions on moving next, means that everyone's still trying to use the same formats and relevancy of data of information. Then when teams and groups start looking at things like service reviews, this is where things like your comments and how things are broken down become extremely useful. Quite often, when a service report is produced, it's produced at the end of a month or end of a quarter, where everything is written in a report in the last day, or the 90th day of the 90 days when this is required. However, if performance analytics was used to be able to comment on areas throughout the month, it means that you'll be able to generate a chronological order of when these events happened.
I think we lost audio.
Hello?
Oh, okay, now I hear you.
You can hear me? All right. Okay, so as you start adding comments, not only do you start seeing them as speech bubbles across the top, but they also allow you to see in the chronological order of the comments of when these were.
I think your audio is cutting in and out.
Sure, I can still hear. Still hear me now?
Yes, I can. It just says that you're able to, or I think you said order your incidences, and that dropped.
Is it? Okay. Please tell me if it goes off again. If Thank you, Lisa. Well, let me repeat myself again on the last point. Well, comments are very useful on charts, especially time series charts. Not only do you have the opportunity to comment on charts throughout the month, throughout the weeks, it allows you, if you do service reports, to be able to have a chronological history of any issues that happened or any peaks and troughs that are best recorded. Performance analytics now gives you an opportunity for you to report and provide a clear measurement on your KPIs, and also provide the comments on any peaks and troughs. Also, amongst this, you can actually provide targets across KPIs, which so they on your dashboards. This allows you to be able to set thresholds and also set alerts anytime you go too high or anytime you go too low on anything that's maximized or minimized, respectively. I won't go too much into the way the chart types are. However, I'm sure this is one area where many people, many of our users, many of our key users in the area, especially I work in, are very keen to see. They're always, everybody likes a different layered chart. Veolia is actually one of the first companies to go live with Jakarta, and even over the last 2 days, we've seen many of these chart colors and chart designs change. So
Last I heard was the chart colors change. Maybe it's my audio, but that's the last I heard.
okay, I'll repeat the last one again. It's okay. Recently, Veolia, we went live with Jakarta. So as of Monday, and so we're one of the first companies to go live with Jakarta, and we've seen many new features, especially these color trends and hash trends. There are a lot more new features inside performance analytics to help you with this, but the baseline of all indicators of how you can start making them useful all start from the basic indicators, and many of these basic indicators are available out of the box. Of how useful they are, you can build your own KPI library and then link across with them. One of the most important things we did was actually make our KPI library public. This actually means that not only people who are IT users or ITIL users as such can view it. It means that at any management level, KPI libraries, this KPI library can be referenced, whether it be from a Google site or a intranet site. It links you back into a ServiceNow, where you can see where things are more relevant, see ratings, see the number of, see the people commenting, or even advise on how and when they use it. The next steps and the next ideas, ideally, will be to get some visualizations next to these KPIs to be able to see and demonstrate what it looks like. Because still, as much as you have a description and a label and a type and different categories of KPIs, I think it's important also to show how the trends are, how targets can be set, how the measures can be understood, and then how benefit and who benefits from this. I think the feedback that countries will provide back in the next steps will help other countries and other teams across the board be able to improve also. So these are the first steps that we've taken inside Viola here. Okay. Any questions?
On YouTube, I'm not seeing any questions at this time. And let me just refresh on the community thread to see if we've got some posts yet. Nope, I'm not seeing any, but hopefully we can get some after we end the broadcast and people have a chance to review and think about some of their questions.
Right. Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for hosting this for me. Yes. Please, if you have any questions, please get in touch. I'm available on the ServiceNow community as well. I'm actively posting on mostly performance analytics questions and answers at the moment, as well as the LinkedIn, anything on LinkedIn across the board as well.
And also, please let us know what other topics you might want him to present and or answer. So let us know that too on the community.
All right. Thank you.